The area that is today referred to as Turkey has been inhabited since prehistoric times. Over multiple millennia of recorded history, the land has been occupied or inhabited by various cultures and peoples, including Alexander the Great's Roman Empire, the Byzantine Empire, Seljuk Turks, and the Ottoman Empire. After the fall of the Ottomans at the end of the First World War, Mustafa Kemal Ataturk helped lead the transformation of Turkey into a modern nation-state. Nestled between Eastern Europe and Western Asia, Turkey's borders fall within two continents. It is a very strategic land bridge that connects Europe, Asia, and the Middle East. With about 486,000 square miles of land within its borders, Turkey is slightly larger than Texas and has more than 4,400 miles of coastline. Turkey is a democratic, secular, constitutional republic with a diverse cultural heritage. It is also a relatively young country, with about half of its 70 million people aged less than 30 years old. The country's official language is Turkish, and is natively spoken by approximately 85% of the population. Native Turks make up about 3/4 of the populace, with Kurds constituting about 1/5 of the total population, and the remaining inhabitants being made up of various ethnicities, including numerous European and Middle Eastern nationalities. An excess of 90% of the country's population is Muslim, but they vary in religiosity and beliefs. While Turkey is secular in foundation, it is currently ruled by a democratically elected Islamist political party, and the impact of religion in society is tangible. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. The Islamic call to prayer is sounded 5 times a day across the country, echoing in the bustling marketplaces and historic heritage sites that attract millions of tourists each year. To give you an idea of how impactful religion is on Turkish culture, Muslims across Turkey are now observing the day-long fasts of the holy month of Ramadan, which greatly impacts business and consumer habits. Stores, especially restaurants, usually open late and stay open throughout the night to accommodate those observing Ramadan. Before dawn, drummers roam the streets to wake people for a pre-dawn meal before the day-long fast begins. But it would be misleading to look at the Turkish people in any monolithic sense. Every extreme present in Europe, Asia, and the Middle East is manifested in Turkish culture, from the bare-breasted feminist activists marching the streets to the completely veiled religious conservatives and every shade of gray in between. Most of the country's population, more than 70%, lives in urban centers, mostly in the iconic city of Istanbul and the capital city of Ankara. High literacy rates are emblematic of the country's emphasis on education. But this does not come without difficulty. Despite recent economic growth and the establishment of Turkey as a regional force, between 9 to 18% of the country's workforce is currently unemployed. Turkey boasts the world's 17th largest economy, with a 2012 GDP that nearly reached $800 billion, according to the CIA World Factbook. Services account for the sheer majority of the country's GDP, with industry and agriculture also making up sizable portions of the economy. Turkey's largely capitalistic economy is becoming more and more driven by service and industry sectors, although the traditional agriculture sector still accounts for 25% of the country's employment, but less than 10% of the country's GDP. A recent privatization effort has reduced the government's involvement in basic industry, banking, transport, and communication, leading to the rise of middle-class entrepreneurs innovating and expanding Turkey's global reach. Despite having a relatively free market economy, the Turkish media scene is heavily regulated by the Radio and Television Supreme Council and is largely controlled by a small group of media conglomerates. There are no legal restrictions on press ownership in Turkey, but broadcasting companies, on the other hand, are subject to licensing requirements. In terms of government regulation of media, Turkey is home to the world's largest population of imprisoned journalists. According to a study by the Carnegie Endowment for International Peace, the Turkish judicial system tends to equate criticism of government policy with radical or terrorist ideology. The government is highly involved in what is presented to the public in Turkey, including on the internet, where sites are filtered and banned based on their content. According to Carnegie, A 2012 reform package has alleviated some of these issues, but more drastic reforms are needed. Freedom House rates Turkey as only having partly free media institutions. Turkey has a wide variety of domestic and foreign periodicals. Despite a diverse media market, ownership is concentrated among large private companies, which limits the views that are presented. The largest operator in Turkey is the Dogan Group, whose newspapers occupied about half of the printed media market in 2008. According to eMarketer.com, more than half of the Turkish population reads newspapers. The most popular daily newspapers are Hurriyet, Milliyet, Posta, Sabah, Yeni Asir, and Zaman. Of these titles, Zaman's 860,000 and Posta's 645,000 daily circulation figures top the list. Most newspapers are based in Istanbul with simultaneous Ankara and Izmir editions. But television is the most influential medium in Turkey, reaching about 9 of 10 Turks. More than 18 million households own a television. A majority of homes have a satellite dish and have access to multi-channel platforms. There are 2 digital subscription platforms on satellite, Digiturk and D-Smart, reaching about 2.2 million and 1.2 million households respectively. Cable television has about 1.3 million subscribers in Turkey. The state-sponsored broadcaster, Turkish Radio and Television, in addition to several other commercial broadcasters, offer hundreds of television and radio channels. Foreign companies may own as much as 25% of the Turkish media industry, and many non-Turkish language channels are available on satellite and radio. Of the 6 national channels on state radio, some programs are offered in Arabic, Bosnian, Circassian, and Kurdish. About 1/3 of the country is reached via radio broadcast. On the flip side, almost half of the Turkish population is online, with more than half of internet users subscribed to broadband service. About 30 million people from Turkey are on Facebook, which made it the world's 3rd highest Facebook presence in 2011. Another popular destination for Turks is on video sharing sites. YouTube alone makes up almost 10% of all internet traffic in Turkey. Turkish cinema has also emerged as a very successful business in the past decade. Movie admissions topped 40 million in 2010, with more than half belonging to Turkish productions, although only 66 of the 243 films screened were local. Similarly, despite the wide availability of Western television series in Turkey, Turkish audiences largely prefer local productions. Every year, between 80 to 100 local television series are produced in Turkey. These productions have also been exported to neighboring countries in Europe, Asia, and the Middle East, which has led to an embrace of Turkish culture in the region. After considering all these factors, a company hoping for a global expansion should carefully consider Turkey as an optimal place to grow and succeed.